My name is Tina Brown. I have 30 years service in working with the city and county of San Francisco as a human service technician. And I've worked in the homeless department. I worked in the Cal Works department, San Francisco General Hospital. Um, I'm rooted in community. That's just who I am and where I come from. Um, I moved to Pinole 3 years ago after I lost my husband. I had to move in with my daughter, and Pinole has become a place where my healing has taken place. So moving forward, I'm looking for a place. I want to get my own home, and I decided to run and see what type of impact or difference I can make within the city. I have four kids, 12 grandkids. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. I was a teenage mom. So, that's how I to God, he doesn't waste anything. So during my struggles and my journey as being homeless myself as a kid, I was a teenage mom. So therefore I started early with my kids. So my kids are grown.
Thank you very much. So let me get started with the first question. What are your top three priorities if elected, and how will they be funded?
I my first priority, I think, is to take a look. I believe is to look at the budget, have a meeting with the city manager, the mayors, and find ways how we could create economic development within the city of Pinole moving forward, um, where we could cut costs, hold contractors accountable because I hear a lot of things that wasn't done correctly. And although I can't fix the past, no one can, but it's to move forward to see how we could balance the budget and make sure that the residents of Pinole are secure in what we're doing on the financial aspect. Um, the second thing is public safety. I think public safety is very important. Even as I'm canvassing, excuse me, the areas, there's potholes, there's crack holes in the concrete, and that could be very dangerous for our seniors and for our children. How we can maintain and see how we can make things like that happen. Um, in a quickly process. It shouldn't take long. But again, that goes to holding people and leadership and the contractors and stuff that we deal with accountable. Um, uh, just defines if we're eligible for grants or from the state and the federal level to get things that we need to get done and to help budget our balance, our financial aspects to move forward.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Sherry, next question.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for being with us today. How would you work with others to support Panole's priorities?
I'm a collaborator. I think we have to be strong as a team. And that means coming to the table, having hard conversations and making hard decisions from the top, even including our community. I mean, everyone should be able to have a voice. We can't cater to every voice, but nevertheless, everyone should have a voice. And that means like having listening sessions. I'll never forget Mayor Brown when he became mayor, he had meet your mayor once a month. And I absolutely love that idea then. And that's something that I think that we should do now to make sure that everyone is heard and we collaborate. Collaboration is key amongst leadership, city council, mayor, city manager, all above.
Okay, thank you. Nadine, number three.
Do you support forming a citizen police oversight review board to propose changes in police budgets, citizen contact policy, and to investigate citizen complaints?
I think that's a very important. That's very important because we have to hold our police department accountable too. We have to although we have to hold our police department accountable. I think Pano's a pretty safe city. Um, Not to take that away. I think the police are doing an excellent job in that, but it doesn't hurt to have a different set of eyes.
Okay, Raphael, number four.
Systemic racism has been prominent in the news. Do you feel that there is systemic racism present in Pinole? And if so, how would you address it as a member of the city leadership?
I personally, I don't, I personally have not experienced racism here, but what I believe is happening, it's old Pinole against the new Pinole. I think the leadership of the um, old citizens that were involved in city council and the mayor's office, I think they still hold up to their perspectives of how they feel like the city should run. But I think even those type of conversations need to be held at a community forum. Um, that's something that definitely should be discussed, and that's something that's definitely supported. I mean, if it exists, it needs to be addressed. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Does your city have a plan to address the needs of the homeless? Do you know the current homeless rate in Pinole? And what are your plans to address the situation?
Well, I had this conversation with. I don't really see homelessness in Pinole. And I work in the homeless field in San Francisco, no comparison, but I don't see there's homeless people here, but it's sporadic. And they go to other cities as well. It's like traveling homelessness. I think the way to address that, if it grows, is like we need to have some type of um, shelter in place to address that. Maybe even like having a setup to where they could come, we provide meals and stuff to them during the course of the day. um I think if that grows, if that population, the homeless population grows, then at that time it should be addressed to figure out how we can meet the needs of that population as well. Because again, those are voices that need to be heard as well, and find resources to help them. I know there's a shelter I deal with, the Bay Area Rescue Mission, but that's in Richmond, but it's not far from here as well. So those are resources that we could direct them. And there's Brookside Shelter, there's other places, but we have to be able to feel comfortable enough to meet that population. A lot of people are afraid of that population, but they're just people, and life just showed up for them, whatever the case may be, whether it's mental health, substance abuse. So we have to learn to address the issue at hand and deal with the people and meet them where they are.
Thank you very much. Sherry, you want to take question 6?
Do you support or oppose rent stabilization and renter protections, such as Just Cause in Pinole? Why or why not?
I definitely do, because life could show up. Life shows up for people. I'm a private example of that. Um, and thank God I was able to move in with my daughter, but I wouldn't want her rent to have to increase because she had to take in her mom. You understand what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we're in a society now where people lose jobs. Jobs are being cut. AI is taking over. So if that happens to a person in a household, we have to be willing to offer resources and stuff to help them not become homeless, because then that's how the homeless population grows. So we have to be able to meet that family, that or that individual where they are. So yes, I definitely do support that.
Okay, and now we have some budget questions. Raphael,
Do you support the yellow brick road? If so, how would you fill the remaining budget gap for the next fiscal year?
um yes, the yellow brick road. Can you give me some insight on that? I actually haven't heard of that.
Am I allowed to provide more information on it?
sure, what is a yellow brick road other than the Wizard of Oz movie?
Right. Right.
Hey
So the yellow
Raphael,
brick road
just really
is,
quick, I'm sorry, I have to interject here. Typically when we ask questions and endorsements, we're not allowed to have follow-up conversation after that.
Okay.
So
okay,
just as a reminder, just Yeah, just in the future, we don't have follow-up conversation.
Okay. Um, because I don't have really knowledge of the Yellow Brick Road, but I feel like in order to bridge the gap for the budget, again, we have to look at things that probably need to be cut, um, and we need to find resources that we could bring in to help balance that budget for the following years.
Okay, thank you very much. And Nadine, take number 8, please.
What's your position on transitioning from fossil fuels and refineries currently in or near your city?
Well, because we have one right down the street. For me, it's been, I mean, it's creating it, make sure that it's safe for our all communities. It's not just Pinole, all communities. We just have to make sure that it's safe, because fuel is needed. That is needed. But the putting waste in the air and those things aren't necessarily always good, but we have to figure out a way to make it safe and feasible for our Pinole and the surrounding cities, because it's not just Pinole that's involved. Did I answer that correctly? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, no feedback.
Do
Sorry.
you support and would you vote for a moratorium on data centers in the face of increased data need of consumers in your area?
Definitely. I think voices should be heard. I mean, yeah, I think that's important information because people don't know what they don't know. People oppose things that they have no knowledge behind, they have no data behind. So if we have information that we're willing to share, I think that changes a person's perspective overall.
Okay. And then we have some questions on public safety. Sherry?
Tina, these are three questions. And so the first two, you have your regular 2 minutes, but we added a minute for the last question, which is kind of just pertaining to Pinole. So I'm going to ask the first question, which is, would you oppose or support any contracts with surveillance corporations such as Flock? And if so, what guardrails and oversight would you require?
I think flock cameras are very important these days. I think there's a lot of high crime that's going on. I mean, there's chases that go from one city to another, from Emeryville to Vallejo, and we need that. We need that information, to help for safety concerns. I think it should be guided as far as who has that information, how it's used. Um, Not to be shared with just anyone. Is to be contained within the police department and the higher leadership of the city of Pinole or whatever city it's affecting. You know,
Raphael?
What is the what is the percentage of general fund expenditures that you think Pinole's police department should have?
mm, you got me there. Mm, uh, let's see. I would answer that by saying, uh, it needs the police department needs it should have what it needs to run successfully. It shouldn't be over like tons and tons of overtime, tons of just spending funding on miscellaneous things. It should be structured to what the needs of the police department requires. If I answered that correctly.
Okay. And the last question is from Nadine.
What's your strategy to keep the Pinole Valley Fire Station open?
Um, it definitely needs to be, it definitely needs to stay open. Um, if it's due to lack of funding, we need to figure out a way to keep that happening, to get the funding that it needs. We need to have conversations. That's a leadership conversation that needs to happen, that trickles down to the community as well, to do what we need to do to make that continue to stay open. It's not, you can't, we can't close a fire station based of lack of funding. That's a necessity that we should have. We have too many things that are being closed down due to lack of funding. So we have to figure out as a team to collaborate on how we could continue to keep that funding for that fire station.
Okay. Thank you, Tina, very much. You want to wrap it up and give us a minute and a half closing statement of anything you'd like to share with us?
First, let me say, this is my very first time. I got into this arena just to make a difference, and to see where I can make an impact because it became part of my healing. So I'm not your normal politician. So there's probably things that I probably didn't answer correctly, but I'm going from my heart and what I feel that the city that I see, that I deal with on a daily basis. Again, I love the city. It's been great to me, and it's been great to other people. Um, so thank you for that opportunity, allowing me to even invite me to the conversation, to the table. I appreciate that. And that's what I got. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to the table.